Okay, well, welcome everybody. So we are going to talk this evening for just a bit about the Founders Day Challenge coming up. I'm going to run through a few slides just to give you a general overview of what it is, what's going on. And then we're actually going to go to the live site that went live today so that all of you and all of your friends and family and everybody you're going to start raising money from can go out and set up their pages. You can set up your chapter team pages. So we'll get into that in a few minutes. But first and foremost, my name is Shanda Gray, and I am with the Leadership Foundation, Delta Sigma Pi. I'm the Chief Operating Officer. And between staff, volunteers, and all of you here and all of our chapters, we are here to make a very successful Founders Day. This is our fourth Founders Day challenge that we have conducted. So we're experts now, right? So no, it's good. So let's dive into this and learn more. All right. With us this evening are a couple of our celebrities. We have Andrew Amazine and Sydney Sampson Webb, who are our 23 and 24 National Collegians of the Year. And they are serving as the co-chairs for this campaign this year. Andrew, Sydney, you all want to wave, say hi. I see you on screen there.
Hi,
Excellent.
everyone.
Yes,
So
hello.
you, Great. And if you all have anything as we're going through this, as Sydney, you're a repeat celebrity. Andrew's new to this, but any thoughts, any, information you want to share, please feel free to do that with us this evening. What is the Founders Day Challenge? So it is an online peer-to-peer campaign that is happening November 7th and 8th, are the official days of the campaign, but the campaign stuff starts happening today. This is, our first kickoff event, and all of you will have the ability to start building your networks and getting people lined up so that when we go live with donations on October 25th, you will be able to encourage people at that point to make their donations on behalf of you as a participant or your team. So the Founders Day Challenge, the purpose of it is primarily to help raise money for the chapter leadership funds. We have 208 active collegiate chapters, and in a perfect world, all 208 active collegiate chapters would be out there raising money for this, raising money to help them do what they need to do. We also are always raising money for our general support annual fund that we call now the Delta Sig Fund. And that supports the greatest needs of Delta Sigma Pi. It doesn't go to chapters specifically, but it helps pay for the education at lead events and Grand Chapter Congress and do a whole lot of things that everybody here and all Delta Sigs get to be a part of. Fundraising goal. It's a big one. That board of trustees, they got aggressive this year and said, oh, wow, you all raised 142,000 last year. We can do 160 this year. So 160,000 is our goal, the most aggressive goal. Whoops, things are moving on my screen and they're not supposed to. 160. So that is a combined effort of all of us. Staff are out working now to secure leadership gifts and matching gifts and challenge gifts from a number of alumni and other donors. And chapters, you all are out there raising money. Chapters last year, we had, some of our collegiate chapters raising in excess of $6,000 for their chapter. So those things are achievable, are attainable. It just takes your networks and it takes teamwork to get there. A couple other facts that you might be interested in knowing. I mentioned 142,000 is what we raised last year. Last year, we also had over 1,500 participants in the campaign, which was almost double the year before at about 780 participants. We had over 1,200 donations last year versus 860 the year before. So we're definitely on, that uphill climb of success. And 160, we're going to see some great numbers with that, with all of your help. So chapter leadership funds. Hopefully everyone on this call has heard of the chapter leadership funds, a little bit about them, but let's just touch for a quick moment about what they are, just in case you'd like a refresher course. They're chapter specific accounts. So all 208 chapters has a chapter leadership fund. And you have the ability to talk to your friends, your family, your alumni, your professors, your deans, where you work, whomever, come up with a person. They would be eligible to make a tax deductible gift to your chapter leadership fund through the Leadership Foundation. If someone makes a donation to you, your chapter directly, that is not tax deductible. But making it through the Leadership Foundation to the Chapter Leadership Fund is. So there's a tremendous benefit for those people that you're going out and talking to. And, as part of this whole Founders Day challenge, we just want everyone to better understand that we have these chapter leadership funds. And, as alumni and as supporters of all of the chapters out there, people can give to that through this campaign, or they can give to other causes as well. The chapter leadership fund uses, mostly chapters are using it to attend the LEAD provincial conferences, LEAD schools, LEAD summits. For those of you that are collegiates, you know that now you are able to, when you're registering with your chapter for those events, you can use that money immediately. You don't have to request it for the registration. You can use it up front. So that's a new added perk that we've been able to add this year. Then you can also use this money to help the cost of, let's say you want to bring a speaker to your campus for your chapter, maybe for the whole business school, maybe for the university. It can help pay for the speakers. It can workshops, conferences, lots of those different types of events that are educational in nature. Just so you know, the IRS is who drives what we can use the money for and what you're able to use the monies for. But generally, if you're thinking about education, that's the key to it. So keep that in mind. So lots of ways to use those chapter leadership funds once you get them. So let's talk for just a minute about the Founders Day Challenge and how anybody on this call or anybody you talk to can participate. Really, there's 3 different ways people can participate, and it just depends on their level of desire to get involved. You can just make a gift. Let's say, your mom or dad, brother, sister, hey, sure, I'll make a gift. They don't have to join a team. They don't have to go fundraise other people. They don't have to build the network. There's going to be a button on October 25th through, later in November, but November 7th, 8th is the focus days. Get people to go hit that donate now button and give whatever they want to give, whether it's to your chapter or again, to any of our endowments or the Delta Sig Fund. You can register as a participant, which that feature is now available as of today. And when I looked a few minutes ago, we had 8 participants. A couple of those might be staff, like myself, but everyone here can register as a participant tonight and go out there and set up your own personal fundraising page. So you can populate it with photos, you can put messages of why you're raising money or who you're raising money for. And as a participant, you can just be a participant or you can join a team and be a part of one of the collegiate chapter teams. So here's a very important thing. All collegiate chapters have a team page that we have created for you. So all 208 chapters have a team page. Someone from your chapter, whoever goes out to register and sign up first, should claim that page and work with your chapter to build it and make it what you all want it to be. Again, add pictures of your events, put your mission statement on there of what you're raising money for. If you have a goal of trying to raise, let's just say $10,000 because you want to bring all of your chapter to Grand Chapter Congress in Palm Springs next year. Say that, say this is what we are striving to do. Help us do this. When you can put those impact statements out there and tell people stuff, they're more apt to give. Brandon, also on this call with us, is our Associate Director of Message and Brand for Delta Sigma Pi. Brandon, related to that, do you have any suggestions or thoughts of kind of that team page feel?
Yeah, first of all, if you have any questions as you go in there and start messing around and say, gee, I really wish we could change this photo or we could put some type here. I'm happy to help you. So really, if you email foundation@dsp.org, that'll all get directed to one of us. We're happy to help you, or shanda@dsp.org, either one. I will tell you that the more you can personalize, the more that you can. So say if you're picking photos, try to pick them from different eras. If you know of some donors that you have some pictures of that usually donate, put their picture up there. Put some group shots from yesteryear. I know we did a magazine story on Shanda, and we dug back into the archives of her chapter and got some photos. So the more that you can personalize it and make it a welcoming spot when folks come in, that will help you. It does. Uh, there are plenty of ways that you can reach out personally, and we'll talk about that as we get to it. But really, just making it as individual as you can to your chapter. And if you have any questions, just reach out to us once you get there.
Fantastic. And for those that joined a couple seconds into the presentation, we will go to the live site after a few more slides and take a look and show you what the Founders Day Challenge site looks like if you haven't seen it before, or if you don't remember from, a while ago. Becoming an ambassador or champion. So some of you on the call tonight have joined us, not because you're a collegiate member getting ready to set up your page, but it's because you've reached out to us and said, hey, I want to help. What can I do to help chapters, my chapter, a chapter? So we have two different levels of support with the Founders Day Challenge. One being an ambassador, which is an ambassador to this campaign specifically. So it's kind of a campaign specific short-term role. And your role is help the chapter raise money. You use your networks, send information out there on the peer-to-peer site, reach out to people that you've been in contact with, talk to the chapter, give them ideas on how to raise money. And we're going to show you a toolkit where we've created a lot of tools that you all can beg, borrow, and steal and adapt it to your own needs. But our ambassadors are here to help some chapters through this campaign in a variety of ways. Not all chapters have not all chapters have ambassadors, I should say. Really, every chapter is their own ambassador. As we've grown with this campaign for the 4th year now, that's really what we've seen, is mostly the chapters are their own ambassadors, but we do still have some very special VIP ambassador roles. We also have a few chapter champions, and our chapter champions really serve as an ambassador, but year round. They are there to help chapters raise money and just be aware of what the foundation is, and be a liaison to that chapter from time to time. So if you're here because of those things, thank you. If you're here and you didn't know about those things and those interest you in other ways, you can reach out to me anytime. We can have a conversation about that. Those of you that are here representing your chapters, if you know of alumni that work close with your chapter and might enjoy being in this type of a role, let me know that. Have them reach out to me, or you reach out to me. Essentially, we give this group of people a few more tools. We'll give them access to an alumni list for the chapter that they're working with that shows, some of their donation history in terms of, have they given before, have they not given, and just a little bit of info that might, assist the efforts in reaching out to some of those alumni. So that is a little bit there. And I'll pause for a quick second to see if there are any questions regarding this or what we've covered so far. And you're welcome to use the chat, or, if you've got a question, you're welcome to raise your hand. Otherwise, we will keep rolling.
Shanda, one of the
Yeah.
things that when I was at the Atlanta Lead School that I talked to a lot of collegiate members is they were unsure how to come up with like a number as to what they should raise. And one of the things one of the things that I encouraged them to do was look at all the costs. They were asking about Grand Chapter Congress and the provincial conference. And I was telling them to look at the actual costs that are on the websites so that they understand what the overall, cost to the chapter for individual members attending, and then actually add it up, add the hotel, add the registration, think about your travel, and come up with a total number. And then divide it by the number of people in the chapter and say, you know, if you break it down into small chunks, it's a
Yeah.
lot easier than thinking, oh, we've got this big number, you know, it's $5,000 that we're trying to raise. And if you divide it out by person, it's a lot easier than to
Sure.
think, and everybody feels like they have some skin in the game.
Yeah. So, no, those are great suggestions, Beth. Thank you for mentioning that. I will tell you that we took the liberty of setting an initial goal in the page that we've created for all chapters. You have the
Right.
ability to change it, but there is a $1,000 per team initial goal that
Oh,
is
right.
listed. But again, don't let that freak you out. And if you're like, it's only 1,000, we're going for 6. You change that, you know, that you
Mhm.
do control that, but it's really important for all those pages in case some chapters don't specifically go out and customize. We wanted to populate so that you all have complete pages to get the campaign started. But again, yeah, Beth, great suggestions. You know, look at your budgets and think about what it is you're wanting to fund with this campaign. So why should chapters participate? It provides chapter tools needed to fundraise for your chapter leadership fund. And while you can raise money for your chapter leadership fund 365 days a year, you know, this is a very specific targeted campaign that our alumni and our friends of Delta Sig and families are becoming familiar with. So as we continue to repeat this, people get into a habit of, okay, you know, in November each year, I give towards chapter leadership funds and specific things related to that versus maybe at other times of the year they give to support X, Y, or Z. FDC, Founders Day Challenge, it gives each chapter the opportunity to reach out to your alumni and ask them to support your chapter, again, with a tax deductible gift and ask them for support. And, you know, beyond your alumni, again, last year we had over 660 first-time donors. And many of those were non-members. Almost 400 of those were not Delta Sigma Pi members. Those were your moms, your dads, your brothers, grandma, you know, your pastor, your whoever. So keep that in mind. Think big as you're thinking fundraising. And then why else should you participate? Just to support our mission overall for the foundation, which is to raise money to support Delta Sigma Pi members, you all, the chapters. So those are some of the reasons. Best practices to promote the Founders Day Challenge page, you know, as you're getting out there and starting to talk to people. Support Founders Day Challenge with a gift of at least 1907 in memory of our founding year of 1907. $19.07. That's, you know, a somewhat modest gift for many people, and I know it's a stretch for some. So it's a great starting point, especially if you're talking to, you know, collegiate members. Work with your chapter to educate them on what the Founders Day Challenge is and how it can benefit the chapter. And back to Beth's point, you know, running some numbers and looking at your budgets can really have an impact. You know, let the chapter know, okay, if 20 of us want to go to Palm Springs for Grand Chapter Congress, here's what it's going to cost us. You know, now if we don't raise that money, it's going to cost you this much. So, you know, put it in terms everybody can better appreciate and understand. Ask at least 10 Delta SIGs to support the Founders Day Challenge. And by those 10 Delta SIGs, look at who's on this call tonight. You know, you might reach out to a couple of them, but reach out to, you know, your alumni. In the hub, you all have access to, you know, your alumni list, so you know how to get in touch with them. You know, email them, call them, send them messages through the FDC site. Reach out to those people before November 7th, 8th campaign, talk to them about it, the challenge, and then encourage them and challenge them to make those gifts when those dates come. And then following up, you know, while you're out talking to folks now, the whole notion of fundraising, talk to people, get them in on the idea, tell them the timing, and then you've got to do the follow-up. Don't assume just because they say, yeah, I'll give a gift on November 7th. It doesn't mean that the sticky note they put on their computer, they're going to see it and remember to do whatever they said they were going to do.
Yeah,
So
no,
that's
we've had a
yeah,
couple of questions come in related to that, and I've
perfect.
responded to some in the chat, but just wanted to
Okay.
make sure everybody heard. But at first, it was Isabel from the IOTA chapter asked how do I go about setting up our chapters page and registering for the challenge? I know we're going to cover that, but I went
Yeah.
ahead and directed her and everybody else to the toolkit. So there's
Perfect.
a link to that in the chat. We'll cover that here in a
Great.
bit. Then my friend from Christian Brothers University, she asked uh, uh, who actually gets information about this and how to reach out to their chapter's alumni. And I let her know if they need help with lists, we're happy to help them.
And all
But we send
chapters,
to past donors as much as possible.
yeah. And all collegiate chapter officers have access to the hub. And in the hub, you have access to lists of your alumni and information related to that. If you can't find that, if you're not sure, reach out to us. You know, you can reach out to me, Brandon, just send a note to foundation@dsp.org. Anyone, we will help you find the resources that you have.
I had a wonderful conversation with the Truman State chapter this weekend at an event, and we'll have a video where they'll tell you guys everything that they did. But they really emphasize personal communication, so taking the time to send an email from a person using their name, any information you know about them, personal messages really help. And then if you send a newsletter or if you send regular emails out to your alums, it makes it that much easier. They're familiar with what's happening in your chapter. When you tell them you want to send more people to events, hopefully they're excited about it and they're already aware. So that chapter really helped me understand, meeting them where they are and personalizing your message. So we'll talk about that a little bit more, but that's just kind of the kickoff to that idea.
Perfect. All right. Did that kind of cover questions, or is there anything else you want to hop into, Brandon?
There was one more question about a recording, which we'll send to all attendees, and then we will put on the FDC page as soon as we're done here.
Perfect. Excellent. All right. Well, I put this screen up while he was talking in case you were reading it, because by raising lots of money, you can earn more money. We have some very generous donors who have make some additional gifts in order for us to reward our top 6 chapters with an additional $500 each to their chapter leadership fund at the end of the campaign. So we have broken our chapters into 3 tiers, and we'll show you where that is in the site so you can see which tier you're in, but it's based on fall dues paid members that we have on record at the central office, and we've loaded all that information up. So we've got 3 tiers, and the top 2 teams that raise money for their CLF is who will win those $500 times 6 times. If there's a tie, we'll do a drawing to break the tie in that instance. I don't think we've ever had a tie yet, but it could always happen. But the key words to this are raising money for your CLF. So even though you have your team, and let's say Sydney and Andrew and Brandon are on a team together, and Sydney makes a $500 donation, but she doesn't give it to the Alpha CLF, which they're the 3 members of. She makes the gift through the Alpha team page, but she directs it somewhere else. So those monies ultimately do not get counted as CLF dollars. So it is the most money raised by chapter size for your CLF. So we'll show you where those are, and you can see which tier you fall into and strive to raise some money. One thing that staff is out doing right now, we are talking to a lot of our alumni about making some challenge and matching gifts. Let's make it fun. Everybody likes a little competition from time to time. And some of our, alumni are, I'll just make up an example. They're willing to match $2,500 in gifts to your CLF from first-time donors. So let's say Kayla's out there raising money for Beta Zeta, and we've got Richard Featherston who's given a matching gift for that chapter. For every dollar raised by new donors, he will match it up to $2,500. So we'll promote those kinds of challenges and matching gifts throughout the campaign. And certainly if you're talking to a donor and that comes up, and you know, there's an interest in doing something of a more sizable amount, generally, you know, it's $1,000 or more on those matches. You can always put them in touch with me. Happy to have that conversation with them and see how we can help promote that for your chapter. But, you know, do take a look. There will be a challenge matching page, and then we'll do a lot of social media posts those days, you know, promoting any of those challenges and encouraging people. We're also, I'll mention here, just because we do have such a great group of folks on this call, staff is also reaching out to alumni and others about making what we're calling a leadership gift. And a leadership gift is committing a gift of $1,200 or more in advance of the campaign that, you know we have secured before the event even happens. And, you know, that's one of the ways that we all reach this $160,000 goal together. So if you are talking to some of your donors and you do have someone that's wanting to make a sizable gift, happy to chat with them, you know, along with you or on your behalf to try to maximize that and get them the recognition that may be very important to them as well. So just some extra things to mention, you know, as we go along. Let's see here. So there is a frequently asked questions section that you're going to see here in a couple minutes on the actual site. This just kind of shows you, we're going to come to that. And in this presentation, I pulled this from before. We'll look at these quickly, but again, you're going to be able to read a lot of this. But these are some of the bigger questions people tend to have. So what if I want to organize a team to fundraise for the Founders Day Challenge? Is that possible? Yes, it is. So while we do have a team set up for every collegiate chapter currently, that is all the teams we have. And really, we're encouraging everyone to either join one of those collegiate teams or just be an individual and give and do your thing. But if somebody wants to have a region team, you could. Here's the catch. You can only be part of one team. And that's not a Delta Sigma Pi limitation. That is a software limitation. And, you know, we continue to add it to their list of things to make better. But it does become a challenge being part of multiple teams, and they have a whole documentary of why they don't do it. So just know, if you know, are part of the Beta Zeta team, but you want to be part of something else, what you choose first is where you are. Anyone can set up their own donation page. We encourage it. You just register as a participant, and under the Get Involved, we'll go look at that in a moment. Each collegiate chapter, we already talked about, you already have a preset team page, so don't go set up a new one. If for some reason you can't find it after we're done with this, or you're talking to people, just let us know. And we'll, you know, if you do accidentally set up a new page, we'll help you get that cleaned up so that, you know, people giving to you don't get confused on where they should give. I want to support my friend's team, but would prefer to donate to a different fund than what they are supporting. That's what we had mentioned earlier. You can support whatever you want, whether that's a CLF for any chapter, any of our endowment funds, or the Delta Sig General Annual Fund opportunity that goes to the greatest needs. And if a chapter is closed, so some alumni on here, the chapters that you came from or that you've traditionally supported may not be active currently, you can give to any chapter you would like, or again, any cause. So just because you are from Beta Zeta chapter does not mean you have to give to Beta Zeta. Let's see here. Social media. No, if you're not social media savvy and you're, you know, you don't want to go out there and promote it on, you know, Twitter or X or whatever they're calling it these days, that's okay. You don't have to, you know, you can do it the old fashioned way. You know, go ahead and set up your page. We'll help you if you need help, but call your former pledge brothers and encourage them to give, or send an email to people and give them the link. And, you know, that's a quick and easy way. So you do not have to follow all the rules of engagement for peer-to-peer fundraising. And because we are celebrating Founders Day along with all of this on November 7th, if your chapter is hosting some kind of an event, there is a page that will show you where you can add that. You know, if you'd like people to join you, whether it's a virtual event or an in-person event, You never know what alumni may be in your area on business or visiting family. It's amazing sometimes if you make the information available, you know, hey, we're having an alumni event on November 7th in downtown Atlanta. You never know who might walk in the door. So if you wish to, you know, put information out there, you certainly can do that. And then really the contact information, you know, me, or just remember foundation@dsp.org. If you get it to there, we will get it to the right person. Brandon also provided his email, which is brandon@dsp.org. So that is the presentation itself. Now, let's see if technology is going to work in my favor this evening, and we will go take a look at the actual site. All right, tell me you see an FDC page. Lovely. All right, so here is the Founders Day Challenge One Cause peer-to-peer page. Went live today. You know, some basic information on here, ways to participate, things that we've talked about, how to participate, reasons. Up here, this is where you can get in, you can join a team, you can register as an individual. You can click this Get Started button up here at the top. And this is going to give you the option of if you want to sign up with an existing social media account, you're welcome to. Or if you just want to sign up using your email, that is fine. People use all the different methods. They say for the best experience, use Facebook, Google, or X. But again, it is up to you. If social media is not your thing or you can't choose one, set it up with your email. You can still promote via all those vehicles. Brandon, do you have any suggestions in that realm of
I'm sorry,
setup?
I was responding to Jeff's remark about how he likes to see chapters get or alums get competitive with their chapters, and I told him it's like a horse race on day 2. Um, so
Absolutely.
as you register, it doesn't matter. The easiest way to sign in might be through email, but you can sign up with, I think everybody has a Facebook page, and you can sign in using any of those. It doesn't make any difference as
Okay.
long as you can remember how to log in.
There you go. So get yourself all logged in. Once we go live on October 25th, this Get Started button becomes a donate button. You can't miss it. Donate now. Great big, bright exclamation point, I think, even on that one. As we start raising money, you're going to see this Delta Sigma Pi growing. It's going to fill in. It's, you know, one of those little gradiated scales. So that's always exciting. We've got, you know, as people register, photos, if you add a photo, goes into here. If you don't add a photo, you know, it'll throw your initial up or logos or whatever. The leadership gifts that I was mentioning earlier, by November 1st, we'll get those all secured and we'll get that master list of people listed here that, you know, will deserve some pats on the back and kudos for their, you know, advanced leader support. So that will be a place for you to watch as time goes by. But let's jump into, we have these 3 tabs across the top, which really have all the tools you're going to need to be successful. So under the What's Happening, you're going to see our donor wall. And once people start making gifts, it will go into this donor wall. Now, one thing to know is the way the software works, it does not accumulate multiple gifts. So, you know, let's say Beth gives 3 $100 gifts. She will be recognized as a $100 donor. It does not add up that she gave $300. It will, you know, obviously process it all through the system and things like that. Now, if she makes a $100 gift and then later she makes a $200 gift, then she will move up. So the highest dollar of a single gift you make is where you will show on here. If you have someone, and it kind of goes back to my comments earlier, if you have someone going to make a substantial gift, you know, I can work with them to make a leadership gift so they get recognition for the full amount versus, you know, each individual smaller gift, which adds up and is amazing for us. So anyway, so the donor wall, and there's going to be, when we go live with donations, there will be more options and some pictures and commentary about, you know, $19.07 will do this for you versus a $500 gift will do this. So we've got that happening. Leaderboards, you'll be able to watch out here to see, you know, top participant fundraising leaders. This is individuals. So this would be Kayla on behalf of Beta Zeta chapter, whereas the teams would be the actual team. So the Beta Zeta team, the Alpha team, the et cetera, et cetera. And Kayla, I just keep picking on you because you're on my screen and it says Beta Zeta. So I know there's many other people on this call and I just don't see that list on the screen I have over here. So anyway, so this will be a place where you can see how chapters are doing and how individuals are doing. The gallery, so photos, all the photos all of you add to your pages also add into this gallery. So at the end of this, it's really cool. We have, you know, hundreds of fun pictures, and you can go out here and grab these pictures too. You know, so if you see a picture that you want to use somewhere on something, you know, you can copy the image and use it. If people are posting them, they've given the okay to use it where desired. So anyway, so lots of photos to come. And then there is a timeline, and it shows on here, oh, like Isabel, she's been adding some photos. So it just kind of tells you what's been happening on the site and who's out there doing stuff. So Isabel's been adding some things. Sydney, I see she's uploaded a couple photos. So thank you guys for populating and helping build the site. Then we move into resources. Great area for a lot of info for you. The about, again, just, you know, another button for helping people learn about ways to participate in the challenge. Toolkit, this is a big one, and Brandon mentioned he gave everybody the link for this earlier. You guys go into this toolkit, tons of information, you know, who's doing what the Founders Day Challenge is, the chapter leadership funds. But the parts that I think you all are really going to appreciate is you get down in here and it walks you through. This is a great piece to share with your chapter. You know, maybe use this presentation in a chapter meeting and ask everybody to pull their phones out and go ahead and register together, or pull out their, you know, tablets that they probably have in their backpacks. Suggested timelines for when you should be doing different parts of promotion to start building your CLF. Then we get into the sample messaging, and we've provided a bunch of different suggestions for emails, for social posts, for letters, for whatever, you know, asking people to support you, to give you money, and follow-ups for thank you. That's the other really important piece of this. While we raised a lot of money last year, if people don't get thanked, they may not want to give to you again this year. So when you're getting gifts, whether it's a $19.07 gift or a $1,907 gift, thank your donors. And you can't thank people enough. You know, thank them as soon as you see the gift if you're able, and then make sure you do a more formal thank you after the fact. Again, social media suggestions, you know, just a whole lot of different things that in the past people have asked for, we've built, we've continued building. And if there's something you don't find here that you need, let us know. We will make sure we create something for you and we'll add it to the toolkit, because if you're asking, somebody else probably is wondering about it as well. Brandon, any food for thought or words of wisdom regarding this?
I think if you have somebody in your chapter that is adept at these kinds of things, you don't have to feel pressure to use any of these. But that is there. Literally, you could set up, we use Hootsuite in the central office where we can schedule all of our social posts if we want to. I'm sure many of you use tools to do that. You could literally take this messaging and plug it in and have it autoplay throughout. As far as the emails go, many of you use mass email systems, but I would encourage you guys to maybe give a certain number of emails to each of your officers or each of your members, and have them reach out individually to people, because that really does matter. The handwritten note, as us old folks like to do, it still matters. So personalize those messages. One thing I wanted to do, Shanda, and I don't know if it's appropriate now or if I wanted to wait, is actually taking them through. I have my page logged in, and I can kind of take them through some of the suggested activities and how to set up their page.
Okay. Do you want me to take 2 more minutes, just walk them through the
Yeah,
rest of resources, and then I'll unshare and
sure.
you can take them through yours? Okay. Let's do that. So frequently asked questions we talked about earlier, but it's out here. You can revisit that. You know, if people have questions, send them there. The incentives, this is the piece I had mentioned to you all. You can go out, find where your chapter is on tier 1, 2, or 3. Just so you know what chapters you're competing against. We have had in the past some chapters that are like in the same region or in the same area together. Sometimes they kind of get a friendly competition going amongst themselves, and that's fine. You know, whatever inspires you and others to give, you know, use those tools. The training, this webinar tonight, this is last year's that's on there now, but we'll replace it tomorrow with this one. So you can share this with other people, and you know, if somebody else in your chapter is the person that's going to be in charge of doing all this, you can always send them to this. The matching challenge gifts we'd talked about, and we'll get those added out there by November 1st and let you know some of the exciting matches and challenges that people are putting out there to inspire others. We've got some of the how-tos, things that we've already talked about. It's, you know, but we do have a few screenshots for people that need a little more assistance. For the second year, we did this last year, so we thought we'd try it one more year and see what people think. For those of you that are competitive and like to collect badges and have some fun, and I think Brandon will be able to show you that from his page in a moment. But we do have this opportunity to complete some activities throughout the campaign. And as individuals, you can earn badges. So that could be a fun thing to do, and maybe a competition even within your own chapters. And then we've created just this quick, easy, raise $500 in 7-day, you know, piece that you can take a look at and aspire to raise money, at least $500. And you know what? If everybody in your chapter did this, imagine what you could do. But certainly, you know, we'll give you some new and different ideas. And then as you get to the get involved, register as a participant that we talked about, join a team. We talked about all the chapters. And then the event calendar was the other piece. We don't have any events out there yet, but we don't need that. But yeah, if you all have an event, you can add it out there. I know Cincinnati Alumni Chapter is hosting the open house at the central office on November 9th. So I anticipate that probably Jim or Mary or someone from Cincinnati Alumni will be adding that event. But again, please add your events. So I think that's what I was going to show you. Now, Brandon's going to show you a completed page and dig in a little bit deeper. So let me stop sharing, and
Yep, looks like I've got the permission to do so.
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So I went ahead and logged in, and when you log in, you'll see your name up here in the upper right-hand corner. I've got a few more options as an administrator towards the bottom, but you should be able to see under my page, you can click view my page or manage my page. So what I've done is I've clicked manage my page, and that's where I am. So at any point, you can click this top one, and mine's pretty basic. I just set it up today. But as you customize your own page, you've got your link here at the top, this p2p.onecause.com. And then it's got your personalized link. So as you're sharing with friends and family, you can share them your personal page. And when you go back to setting up your page, you can put an introduction. You can put code on there if you're able. I am this able with code, but you can put that on there. You can put why it's important, why you're doing this, what your chapter's goals are. You can update all that. This is set up as a default for you, so you have one line there, so it won't be blank. Your dashboard, this tells you all the action that your page is getting. and everything that you've sent through the site. So if you've invited friends, there's an area to do that I'll show you here in a minute. There's an area to send emails directly from here. This tracks all that for you. So again, another competition element. You guys can see who's getting the most page views and that sort of thing. Yeah, here's where you set up your page, the basics, but this is something that you can always check. I'm just participating as an individual. Like I said, not a brother, but I am an alum of the University of Tennessee, so I may go on and participate as part of their team, and I can search for that and join. Adding photos and videos. I know Shanda has referenced this a few times. I was playing around and just put a logo and then a QR code on there. But you have lots of options here. You can link to YouTube. So if you want to do a personal message on YouTube, that can show up on your homepage. You can upload videos, you can link to videos. It's all there for you. You can toggle through them. If you realize you accidentally uploaded a picture of your dog, you can delete that. These are the activities that Shanda was mentioning. That's right. We did do that earlier. This is why I said that. It may help you. I'm laughing because there's this picture of a child here and I don't know why. We'll have to fix that tomorrow. But these are the different challenges. So if you go through under complete activities, these are just recommended activities. So this is suggesting that you wish your big brother a happy Founders Day and challenge them to give a small gift. I won't take you through every single one of these, but this is recommending that you reach out to a faculty member. There's a short video option. I will take you down here to a couple of options. So host an event. If you click host an event, this is how you're able to get your local chapter events on that event page. So that we can look on there and see nationally what every chapter is doing. So again, we have the Cincinnati chapter that hosts something at central office, but you may be doing a bake sale that you want to put on there. You may be hosting a get together with alums, a tailgate, whatever. We would love to see those. So pretty easy. You can add a photo, describe it. You can even have online registration there. You can do anything. So we would love to see that. This one's pretty cool too. I know most of you have robust ways of reaching out to alums, and you already have all that locked down, but this allows you to do this straight from the site. So you can go on here and send out an email to anybody you know. It has a sample message here, and then you can add those photos that you uploaded to your email. So again, a lot of that stock messaging that I think a lot of us have a hard time doing, a lot of that's here for you. Also, ChatGPT helps. It's a little weird sometimes, but if you need help, if you're kind of stumped, that can help you. So a lot of options to personalize, and then obviously you can go back in and see how things are looking, and then this will help track things for you. It does look like I have a couple questions. I was probably just rolling through.
No, I think you're actually good. Somebody just asked about, will the recording be available? And I indicated, go to dsp.org FDC under the resources, and there's the training link.
Yep.
So that will be out there tomorrow.
So if anyone has any questions on this back end stuff, I'm happy to answer it. Anything else, I think we can tag team your answers here if you have anything.
Wow. I'm not seeing anything yet or any hands. Andrew, Sydney, any words of wisdom you wish to instill upon everybody as we head into the campaign?
Yeah, it's a super exciting time of year. I think we should make this one the best FDC yet. And any chapter that's thinking of going to Grand Chapter Congress, it's less than a year away, may seem a little far yet, but never too early or too soon to start raising money for it. So hope everyone takes advantage of this great opportunity, and I'll see you on the pages here. Raise money.
Yeah, I absolutely second what Sydney said about Grand Chapter Congress. So fun to go, especially if your chapter can pay for it. So take this opportunity to get some donations for that. Also, I think we're both going to be at the Philadelphia Lead School during the challenge. So excited to see anyone who's out there.
Excellent. Brandon, it looks like we just got a question. If we sign in by doing join a team, is that how we can edit the team's page? And yes, it is. Are you able to pop that up, or is that?
Yeah. So I actually
Okay.
just did that. Let me share again.
Yeah, I was gonna say if we
Thanks
could just
for-
share that again.
Yeah, thanks for asking. I breezed right past that.
There's a lot of
Okay.
parts and pieces to this for sure. So,
So
okay.
again,
Yes.
I
Here we go.
used my alma mater as an example here. So I joined their team when I went on here. So we're over here where it did say individual participant, it now says manage your team. And then I can add people to my team. I can email anybody else on the team. I can edit the team page.
Yep.
So here's all those options there.
And you can add a photo there. We just populated it with our coat of arms as a starting point. But if you all have a chapter photo you want to put in there, you know, or a team logo for the school or whatever, you have lots of options.
Yep. So that'll allow you to personalize it. If you run into any issues, so you can set a new team fundraising goal, whatever you choose to do there. Again, if you have anybody in your chapter who's great with coding, you can actually go in and load in HTML code and completely personalize it if you'd like. We have exactly one person at central office that is really great with coding, and we lean on her to build our page. So there is that option, and that's just this button here. So you do have that option, and I will get out of Alpha Zeta's page before I do anything that they don't like, but wanted to use that as an example.
Gotcha. So Isabel, you asked, should all of the chapter members be joining? Are they required to donate if they join a team, or is it just an executive member? So ideally, you would love to have all of your chapter members join as a participant of your team. They do not have to give money. People can help raise money and not give money. So if you're in a position and not able to give, that's okay. That's fine. But if you're able to help work your network and maybe raise a little bit, that's very helpful and appreciated. So you don't have to require that. And it really has nothing to do with the executive committee members of your chapter. Hopefully this is a team sport for all members of your chapter that are, you know, in the chapter currently and have been in the past. And would they have access to manage the page if they join? So that's a good question.
That's a good question. I think you finally stumped us. So as I'm going in here, I was the first person to join the Alpha Zeta team.
I believe it's the
And
first person that joins it is the owner of it.
yeah,
Isabel,
that's
you're
a great
welcome
question.
you're welcome
I
to
think
unmute if you want to ask a couple more questions. That may be helpful. We're
Isabel, I
happy.
think what I'll do in response to this is add that to the FAQ once we can get that
Great.
figured out. Because here I am in a position where I used Alpha Zeta as an example, and now I'm locked in as their as their person. So we'll get that figured out on the back end. But that's a great question.
Yeah.
Thanks for stumping us.
Yeah. Great. And I will tell you, if, you know, if by chance you accidentally join a team, so let's say, oops, Brandon meant to join Beta Zeta, not Alpha Zeta. And we can help you fix that. So if you do have somebody that maybe shouldn't be the owner of your page, if it is just a single person that can manage it, you know, we can help on the back end, make a couple of tweaks for, you know, for your chapter to help you best manage your page and the overall teamwork of that. Great. What other questions, or anyone who's been a part of this before that has words of wisdom as people head off into the evening? We're almost at the hour mark and I want to be respectful of that time.
One thing I will say, and it was referenced before, but a lot of alumni, in an effort to try to get their chapter to the top of the race for the additional $500 for in each of the bands for the competition, you will see a lot of activity in the last hour of the campaign on Friday night. Okay, this happens to be on the 8th. So I just want you, collegiate chapter members, to remember that if an alumni promised you that they're going to make a gift and you haven't seen it, sometimes they're hanging out to the very end. And Jeff, Zeke, put something to that effect in the chat. Okay. And that's what's going on. But also don't hesitate to remind those alumni and say the campaigns, I know that we reached out to you and you said you were going to make a pledge. Please don't, forget the campaign ends in an hour. Okay. Don't hesitate to reach out and remind those alumni, because this year it does happen to be a Friday night. So Friday nights can escape alumni. So I just want to make sure that, you all aren't being shy and that you're reminding those alumni that made those pledges. And some of those alumni literally are just like sitting there to the umpteenth hour to make sure that their chapter wins. So I just want to let you know that, you have every right to just remind them if you don't see something and they've promised you.
Yeah, Beth, I agree. I mean, coming from a chapter that did win in Chicago a couple of years ago, it is so important to keep people updated on social media. That's how we did it.
Mm-hmm.
We literally posted the results as they were being, tallied, and people started getting on the bandwagon. So mark it
Right.
throughout and be ready to mark it and celebrate when it's over Friday.
Yeah.
And
Also
keep
of
track.
note, folks, if your chapter's doing an event and you have anybody give you a check, I know some of you may not even know what that is anymore. I had to write the second check of the year to a vendor today myself. It was very weird. They give you a check or even give you cash. Somebody hands you $100 bill to put towards it. Contact me. I can help you add that into your totals and give you instructions on where to send that so we can process those gifts. But we do on occasion have somebody that will take a check and give it to someone at the event. So happy to assist you with that. And that's a good thing to have happen.
And then another thing that does happen as well is some alumni are used to giving via the Delta Sigma Pi website. And that's another thing. We'll take those gifts, but we
Oh, yeah.
just need, we just want you to know that sometimes it'll take a little bit longer if they go through the regular website. Staff will be looking for them, okay? But they're not going to show up on the One Cause thing immediately. So we just want you guys to understand that.
It takes a couple of days after the campaign ends to get the tallied total, and there's still a few gifts, because if people have like a company matching gift that comes in, sometimes those take longer. So some of the totals are floating around for just a little bit, but by the time the campaign's done, we have a pretty good idea where we are. Brandon, you had something?
Yeah, two quick things. First, in some of my conversations this weekend with Iota New at Truman State, they have a very involved alumni base, so that's unique to them. Very, very involved. But they talked a lot about meeting their alums where they are. So while you may spend all of your time on Instagram, TikTok, your older alums are not spending their time there. They said their number one access point was their chapter Facebook group. Nobody in the chapter currently uses that group really, but they knew that's where their alums were. And so it was constant reinforcement, constant updates on how things were going, and not being afraid to ask. So it was two things that I don't think students of today are really fond of using. It was emails and Facebook group. So I thought that was unique and smart of them to do. Secondly, I just went in on the back end and removed myself from the chapter. It is the first person to create, or it is the first person to join that team. If you notice that somebody outside of the officer you put in charge of that, or somebody that you don't want in charge of that, foundation@dsp.org, and we can fix that for you. So I know that's tricky. I know that's frustrating, but we can quickly fix it. I did it in 2 seconds. So just keep that in mind. Make that note.
Excellent. Well, great. Well, I hope people found this helpful. Hope you learned something new. Hope you were reminded of something that you already knew, but just haven't used that skill in a while. I hope everybody goes out and, claims your team page, sets up your own participant pages, and please start reaching out to your networks and challenging people and encouraging people to give and get your case statement ready for it. So I think together we're going to have a fantastic Founders Day challenge year and a wonderful celebration of Founders Day, 117 years. That's pretty cool. So if there's no other questions, I'll stick around for just a couple minutes in case there's any last minute questions, but otherwise, thank you. Have a wonderful evening. We'll get this posted tomorrow if you want to refresh your memory on anything, and happy Founders Day in advance.
Thank you, everybody, and reach out if you have any questions.